Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, July 12th, 2021. The main story weather-wise for the next couple of days is an increase in moisture from the south. We are looking for a pretty good monsoonal surge coming up through the southern Great Basin over the next couple of days. Today the storms are going to be a mix of wet and dry across the southern Great Basin. And then they'll moisten up on Tuesday and even more so on Wednesday. The deepest moisture will be over Utah and far southern Nevada. We also will expect some wind today along the Sierra Front and across portions of north central Nevada. And then tomorrow the winds will pick up over southern and southeast Idaho and then continue as well along the Sierra Front. We have quite a bit of smoke in place over the Great Basin over the next couple of days. Most of the smoke is coming from fires outside of the geographic area. But for today, near the surface, quite a bit of smoke over Idaho, northern Nevada, and then lesser amounts across the state of Utah. And then for this afternoon, once we get the heating and the mixing going, northern Nevada will clear out a bit in parts of western Idaho, but still quite a bit of smoke in eastern Idaho and Utah. At 6,000 feet AGL, looking at smoke also for this morning and for this afternoon. Thicker smoke across central Idaho this morning, and that clears out a little bit by this afternoon, and a little bit more clearing over Utah at the upper levels this afternoon. Precipitation and lightning from yesterday is shown here. We did have a pretty good complex of storms over southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip, and then also a few clusters there over western and central Nevada. Some of these storms, especially with the higher density lightning, did receive heavier amounts of precipitation. In these greens here, around an inch of precipitation or so was observed. And this is just the beginning for this week. So with that ridge in place this afternoon and the moisture starting to move up continuing to move into the southern Great Basin, we do have high risk issued for southern Utah and much of southern Nevada for those thunderstorms. They will be a mix of wet and dry, and so we're kind of highlighting that in there. And then high risk for wind across the Sierra Front. So closer look at where these thunderstorms will develop this afternoon, mainly southern Nevada and southern Utah, although there's a chance for some isolated storms over a little bit further north over the higher elevations of northeast Utah. And then wind on the right, showing the stronger winds over eastern Nevada, or western Nevada, excuse me. And then these stronger winds also representing the gusty outflows from any thunderstorms that develop in these areas. On Tuesday, the moisture continues to move northward as the center of the ridge scoots a little bit further west. So we do have continued high risk for that mixed wet dry lightning along the leading edge of that moisture up into central Utah. The storms further south will definitely moisten up by Tuesday. And then high risk for wind along the Sierra Front, far northeast Nevada, and then central and eastern Idaho for Tuesday. So closer look at this is a probability of precipitation for Tuesday afternoon. The better chance for some more widespread wetter storms over the higher elevations of southern Utah, moving a little bit further northward into the higher elevations of northern Utah is also possible. And then for Nevada, the better chance for the precipitation is going to be over the east central mountains there, where southern Nevada starts to dry out just a bit by Tuesday. So some wind continuing along the Sierra Front. This is 25 knots here. And then also in southern and southeast Idaho, those winds will pick up a bit for Tuesday. On Wednesday, more of the same as expected, that moisture remaining in place generally over eastern Nevada and Utah. Some of our dryness, our PSAs turn to a green dryness level, so really moistening up there. That is going to be, that deeper moisture is mainly limited to central and southern Utah. Anything we get a little bit further northward is going to kind of be that mix of wet and dry. We don't have any high risk issued on Wednesday, as the coverage will probably just not be great enough across northern Utah. So the probability of precipitation remains high across the south and over the higher elevations of Utah, and then kind of remaining on the drier side across northeast Utah. Minimum relative humidities are still pretty low over western and central Nevada. The moisture is not expected to move into that area, and it's also going to stay out of Idaho. Could see a chance for some isolated thunderstorms in western Wyoming by Wednesday. So the 3-day precip totals are shown here. Pretty good monsoonal surge for especially southern Utah. The higher elevations here projected to get between a ½ inch to 1 inch over the next couple of days, and then some fair amounts over eastern Nevada as well. Northern Utah is going to stay pretty hit or miss, not looking for any substantial amounts there, but definitely an increase in relative humidity and some clouds. By Thursday, the moisture still remaining in place over Utah, but we will begin to see the thunderstorm activity decreasing. The dryness level still remaining moist over across the central and southern half of the state. And by Friday, we can see there's some drier air really trying to move into the western half of the Great Basin, with this trough developing up in the Pacific Northwest and southern Canada here. So that is going to try to push the moisture off to the east. So we'll see decreasing thunderstorm activity by Friday. And then on Saturday, really continuing to see drier air move into the Great Basin for decreasing thunderstorm activity. And more of the same on Saturday as that trough tries to move into the Pacific Northwest. Could see some breezier winds returning to western portions of the Great Basin, and that ridge trying to hold on over the Four Corners area. And the 7-day precipitation totals shown here really pretty much highlighting what we're expecting over the next couple of days, with that main monsoonal surge today through Wednesday, but could see some lingering storms on Thursday that will contribute to some of these totals. The extended forecast through July 19th through the 25th keeps the bullseye of heat over the northern Rockies and Idaho. It's still going to be very warm up there. But as far as moisture goes, we could be looking at another little surge of monsoon moisture back up into the southern Great Basin for that third week of July. And that should be enough to keep fire danger somewhat moderated over much of Utah. So our focus remains over Idaho and northern parts of Nevada. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.